Whatever your heritage and whomever you love, you are welcome here. Your presence on Sunday enriches worship for everyone. This sanctuary is made holy by your presence. If you're joining us for the first time, special welcome, and you'll find information about First Parish in your pew. And one of the greeters would be happy to answer any questions, and we can walk you over to social hour, as there actually will be a social hour today. All you hearty souls deserve coffee and something to snack on. The work of living our faith is done both in and out of worship, so I call your attention to the printed announcements that came in your order of worship, or you found it in the email link. But I have to point out a couple things, particularly about today, since the weather is not conducive to people driving. Tim will be providing all the music today. His greatest hits, probably. And the chocolate auction, if you weren't aware, has been postponed to Palm Sunday. And there will be no child care or nursery today, so all generations of our community will be here in the meeting house today. And let me see what I wanted to do here. So why don't we take a few minutes to greet each other at this point.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Greetings from Sausalito,
Oh, wow.
Oh.
where it's, gosh,
No,
gorgeously glorious, but it's in between another atmospheric river. So
so high humidity, huh?
very. But we don't have to shovel it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Great.
And look, you can't see, it's to whatever, but there's a gorgeous guy. It's Richardson Bay, looking over Tiburon.
There's a
So,
lot to shovel these days besides snow.
yeah.
Do you have a lot up there, Dottie? Did they get it up there too?
I'm in Boston.
Oh,
Oh.
sorry, that you were,
No, that's all right. But yes, I
Okay.
think they got snow. My daughter's up there.
okay, that's
For those
good.
of you that don't know, I'm
I
nursing a
just-
broken
at
elbow.
this point,
so-
would you,
Oh, no.
You're
for the folks
nursing
here in the
what?
meeting house, just
What
make sure
is
your
it?
Broken
phones are
elbow.
silenced.
Oh, no.
Oh,
enter
Dottie, I
worship.
have a broken foot.
Okay, well,
Now is the time, now is the moment when we can focus on being here, when we can choose to connect with ourselves and the divine, when we can choose to just be present. Each Sunday, we light the chalice as a reminder that even in an unpredictable world, the flame continues to shine, a corner of warmth and awareness where we, the members of this faith community, can find comfort, support, and connection to one another. And will you join me now in the call to worship, which is found in the card in your pew? Come, let us gather. We gather to celebrate the sacred within and among us. We come to seek spiritual growth and understanding. We strive to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and love. Together, we work to build a world with justice and compassion. Come, let us gather together.
So we won't be singing people out today, but we're going to have just a little bit of play with the theme this morning, which is one half of language, and one half of language is listening. So we're going to talk a little bit about listening. And I don't know if you all, I grew up with these things where if you put your ear up against it, you you can hear the ocean. Do most of you know that thing? Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool. I don't know if anybody wants to try it while I'm talking. Anybody wants to try it? There are different ways that we can use, I mean, it's because of its design, but it sounds like the ocean. There are different things that we can imagine, different things that we can see by our listening, right? Now, what does this sound like? Heartbeat, right. The drum, a lot of what the drum started out to speak of the heartbeat. So that's why probably when you feel drumming, you just really feel it in your body because it originated from that sound, that pattern of sound, the heartbeat. And you know, in terms of listening, as it being half of language, is obviously if you are both talking at the same time, you can't hear a thing. So I wanted to ask everybody in Zoom, you undo your mute, and maybe even undo your visual if you want to. And then everyone here, we're all going to talk at the same time. We're going to say whatever we want to say.
Hey, everybody.
Well, I don't have much to say
From
today.
A little
California.
bit
It's a little
crazy.
snowy. It's,
I don't know.
The sun is shining and we
Green
took a
box
great
keeps
hike
moving.
and it's just crazy. Just
Crazy
crazy.
times right now.
Kids
Sorry
are
to hear about your elbow, Dottie.
Right? You
Okay,
can't
thank
hear each
you.
other when you're all talking
Somebody
at
else
once.
is
Elbow
So
and
there is
foot.
a thing where you
Some-
talk and you listen.
Never
and you
gonna hear
talk
it.
and you
Jabber, jabber,
listen.
jabber.
So that's what we're going to talk about this morning. Here's, of course, one other listening, which can be, you can try and listen, hear your heartbeat too on this one. But it's a stillness where we listen, and feel free to look around because snow is one of nature's ways to say stillness. So we'll spend a little bit of time being still, and then we're going to sing hymn number 15, The Lone Wild Bird. It's a beauty, beauty little one, 2 verses. So let's just stay seated. So why don't you get it out? Number 15. And let's spend a little bit of time in wonderful stillness in the presence of love and the company we have.
The reading today is Deep Listening by Winged One. Let us listen, just for a while. Let us silence our minds and open our hearts. Just for a while, let us listen from within. Listen, not to gain knowledge, not to formulate questions, rather to chance upon sacred bonds and profound wisdom. Let us not rouse the intellect, but embrace the spirit. If thoughts cloud the brain, let them pass. If words tingle on the tongue, let us breathe them away silently. Return to them later. But here in this precious time of sharing, let us listen. Let the words wash over us and seep into a still, quiet pond. Let us listen.
Thank you, too. Hanabiku, nicknamed Coco, was a female western lowland gorilla born in the San Francisco Zoo in 1971. Coco became famous for she could communicate with humans through a form of American Sign Language. Around the turn of the 20th century, Coco had become very sad due to the death of her best gorilla friend, Michael. The researchers who taught Coco began to worry after 6 months of apparent inconsolable melancholy that they could not find a way to soothe. They decided to invite Robin Williams, an exceptional comedian, to the Gorilla Foundation to meet Coco and help cheer her up. Williams immediately accepted, even though he felt a bit out of his league, not knowing primates nor sign language. Williams was a natural communicator, even though often in interviews with humans, he wouldn't settle in and usually riffed past questions or even improvised beyond the form of the interview. I often felt sorry for the interviewers, though they seemed to be having fun with Robin's riffs. When he met Coco, however, he stayed still. He listened with his heart and senses and followed her lead. He shared later that he intuitively interacted with Coco as if she was a very curious child, not in a condescending way, but in an openness to play. Little by little, the gorilla became more and more interested in the human, so much so that she was fascinated by Robin's pair of glasses and wanted to see him what she signed his strange eyes made of glass. Coco soon began using sign language, suggesting they play or discuss things, which were interpreted by the observers. In a few minutes, Coco and Robin began to joke, tickle each other, laugh, tease, and share observations. The researchers asked Coco to define Robin Williams with a chosen word, and the term she used was friend. Following this astounding encounter, Williams then decided to visit Coco whenever he could and to shoot commercials with her in favor of the conservation of protected species and against animal experimentation. Their bond was so strong that Coco deeply mourned Robin's death in 2014. Let us listen just for a while, writes this morning's poet. Let us silence our minds and open our hearts. Just for a while, let us listen from within. Listen, not to gain knowledge, not to formulate questions, rather to chance upon sacred bonds and profound wisdom. The opening for a sacred bond with this gorilla and human occurred when Robin Williams considered the other half of language. He entered the conversation with a willingness and readiness to listen and witness to cues with all his senses to welcome authentic connection. There's a form often used in small groups and workshops called deep listening or active listening, which is a practice of receiving, of giving attention without judgment or comment, mindfully receive as best as we can. So often we want to let the person know we are listening, eager to make a connection or to solve whatever problem we think is being presented. Often that falls flat. Mistakes I have made and still make at times usually occur when I'm worried how I am connecting rather than simply listening. When I'm trying to prove that I'm here rather than authentically showing up. The most important thing to remember is that the only result needed is that you have listened. If you feel you're in conversation to fix a person or solve a person's problem or change a person's way, you're not in true conversation. Listening in the fixing, judging, helping mode then becomes mostly about you. Sometimes this means waiting until what you assume is going to be said is said. I've caught myself finishing another sentence. This relays impatience far more than any attempt of being in sync. I've caught myself wondering what I will say next. This relays a need to be right or included far more than carrying on the conversation. I've caught myself on a completely different wavelength, thinking about something else rather than hearing the person I am listening to. This relays a lack of space for the other, rather than an attempt to welcome someone in. The most authentic remedy for these well-meaning slip-ups is to apologize and name the distraction. I'm sorry, I zoned out. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Whatever. As we've all been there, hopefully the conversation has within it a forgiveness or an ease for a do-over. Rachel Naomi Remen, author, storyteller, and pediatrician, offered simply, perhaps the most important thing we ever give each other is our attention. Our attention may also be a gift to ourselves, a way to break out of self-isolation. Here's a famous Buddhist parable. One day a woman approached the Buddha with tears streaming down her face and a cold, lifeless baby in her arms. She begged the Buddha to perform a miracle and bring her son back to life. The Buddha responded, "I can help you, but only after you bring me mustard seed from a house that has not been touched by death." The woman traveled back to her village and started knocking on doors. The woman had no luck with the first house. Just a few months ago, one of the elders there had died. The next house was similar. Sickness took a child there, too. The disappointment continued until the woman realized the pattern. Every house has been touched by death. The quest given to her by the Buddha to listen to her neighbors' lives made the woman realize the universality of death, the impermanence of all things, including people. She was not alone. Weary, the woman returned to the Buddha. He asked if she had come with the mustard seed he needed to perform the miracle. The woman admitted what she had discovered and asked to join the Buddha as one of his disciples. Often when we try to fix or change or deny a reality, we cannot be free of its grip. Even it'll tighten the grip if we try to do those things. When we bring ourselves into a place of noticing or paying attention to what is around us and a part of us, the remedy, the finding the way through, will emerge. Listening is a magnetic and strange thing, writes journalist Brenda Ueland. A creative force. When we are listened to, it creates us, makes us unfold and expand. So this is an attention-grabbing time, you think? To a breaking point. So much stuff is flooding at us to pay attention to. We're challenged to be more discerning of what's happening as citizens than any other time in our lifetimes. What do we listen to? What are we hearing? Who needs to do the talking? Who and how can we be in this distraught time? These are questions that don't have immediate answers, except to affirm that it is good we are asking. Maya Angelou gave this wonderful bit of wisdom, among many, of course. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. This is true about listening to ourselves as well. We need to listen to our bodies, listen to our intuition, listen to our sense of life's worth. We can then act accordingly, protect accordingly, cherish accordingly, and we can help one another when feeling lost. And we need constant reminders of this. Look at our call to worship, our weekly reminder. I'll read it to you. Come, let us gather. We gather to celebrate the sacred within and among us. We come to seek spiritual growth and understanding. We strive to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and love. Together we work to build a world with justice and compassion. Come, let us gather together. This is a grounding for us to be open to the wisdom that we have within and about us. So I wanted us to do just a simple, short listening exercise together. I want to ask you to get yourselves comfortable in your seats, feel the floor or what you're sitting on, and get back to the stillness we had a little while ago. Really feel your body. And if you want to, you can put a hand on your heart area and a hand right below your belly button. And feel the warmth of your hands. Get in touch with your body, with your being. Now I'm going to read our call to worship again, and I ask you to just relax into it. And if a word or a phrase speaks to you, if your body wisdom says yes to that word or phrase this morning, just remember it, and we can talk about it in coffee hour. Just relax into your body and hear these words, these wise words. Come, let us gather. We gather to celebrate the sacred within and among us. We come to seek spiritual growth and understanding. We strive to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and love. Together we work to build a world with justice and compassion. Come, let us gather together. What is your body wisdom telling you to listen to this morning? It's a key of how to get through this time. Hear that call. Feel the assurance of that aspiration, that active hope, that we have each other and we have the world. Let it ground you in your listening, in your wondering, in your action. Let us not try to be perfect at it, or we'll freeze in place. Trust in your ability to discern, to understand, to listen. It might start with tickling or gentle teasing or gestures. Something will arise if you show up, if you honor the fullness of connection, if you embrace the gift of language, half of which is listening. So may it be. Amen. Let's sing hymn number 112, Do You Hear, in the gray hymnal. Please rise as you are able in body and or spirit. Please be seated. Let's join our hearts in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of life, spirit of love, spirit of affirmation, spirit of sustenance. Come to our knowing. Help us feel assured of your presence, even in this chaotic time, this time of the politics of chaos. Help us sort through it to find our soul's calling. Help us hear. Help us hear. And let us be bold in our compassion and forgiving in our brokenness, and strong when we ask for help, and strong when we help. May we cherish each other. May we find each other. And for all the prayers lifted up but unspoken, let us hold them in love. Amen.
Perhaps you could call this maybe an impromptu faith reflection. When I received the reading from Reverend Lisa, it really struck me. I have been an acting teacher, I've been an acting coach, and I've had the privilege of working with some of the best actors on the planet. And one of the best skills that young actors don't have is listening. And this, I'm going to use this reading the next time I do a workshop, because what rings false to you as an audience, even though you might not recognize it, is that an actor speaks and the other actor just gives his lines that he's memorized, already figured out how to say, and just delivers it without hearing the nuances, the passion, the doubt, the anger, the love of the actor who has just spoken. So to make a true connection, my most pleasant memories of working with an actor, you may not know him, Ethan Embry, but he's the best listener I've ever encountered. I started, I think, being an acute listener as an actor simply because I was losing my hearing. And people said, man, you really listen hard. And I go, yeah, I have to. So I just wanted to say that this act of listening really makes authentic communication between two people. And that's what you as an audience will react to when you see two actors who are really hearing each other and really reacting as opposed to reciting a prepared speech. Today's offering will not be given to the Stonehouse. That will be next week. So today's offering will be given for the services and ministry of First Parish. And to give, please follow the instructions printed in your order of worship or shown on the Zoom screen. For those in the meeting house, You can deposit cash or a check in the collection plate located at the main entrance at the end of the service. There's also a plate over here. If you're proud of this church, become its advocate. If you care about its future, share its message. We welcome all to build a just and healthy world with faith, love, and compassion. Please support our faith community by giving as generously as you can. Please join me for the unison dedication. May these gifts be transformed into strength for this faith community, into comfort, food, and shelter for those in need, and may we be transformed by generosity. And please join in the doxology. From all that dwell below skies, let songs of hope and faith arise. Let peace be one every song, and by
And as I douse the flame of the chalice, may the flame of our faith, the fire of our faith, burn deep within us. May we greet this world with a welcome. May we take whatever peace we felt out in our world. May we let the love be in our hands for this next week and beyond. Have a good one. Amen.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hey, Bill. Want to
Hello,
have
Tucker.
our own little social hour?
Can I join you?
Yes, please. And Maria and Deb and Andrew or Lynn, whoever. We may get cut off. So what's the snow action in Milton?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Beautiful.
We got 6 inches here.
Do you? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the cross-country skis out.
Good for you. That's making something positive out of winter.
Absolutely.
Well, I can almost guarantee we've had at least 6 inches of rain over the last 2 weeks that we've been here. The atmospheric rivers just keep coming. We're in a sunny interlude until I think Tuesday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe Saturday is rain. But California, they need it so much. So, good opportunity to read a book.
Well, that's great news, Tucker.
Yeah. Hey, Mary. Hey, Jim.
Hello.
How's things with you?
Well, I've been fighting a cold for 3.5 weeks.
Oh,
It keeps-
gosh.
It keeps going away and coming back. So it's
I,
just, I feel fine. It's just uncomfortable with the constant sneezing and runny nose. But I've gone on a few walks up and back of your house over the last week. And I went yesterday. It was really nice. And the wind has blown the big branch off of the kitchen roof. There's still a little one up there. And I couldn't get up your driveway. It was icy. And I did a 180 and landed in the field.
oh, no.
Just a little bit, but I managed to rock my way out of it and get back on the driveway. So I don't try anymore. I just walk. I
No.
got those tracks, for the bottom of your shoes.
Yeah.
So I wear those whenever I go out now because it's very icy around here. And 3 people we know have broken limbs.
So Dottie told us she broke her elbow. Somebody else on the Zoom broke their
Kelly.
elbow. Oh, golly.
She went in the driveway in her slippers, and she broke 3 metatarsals.
Oh, dear. Well, see, I think I've got lots of postcards to send. I don't know if you've gotten one yet, but
We got a cool one. I love that picture.
good.
Bill, did Deb have to have surgery?
No surgery. She's
Okay,
getting
good.
better. She's able to put a little weight on the right foot for the first time since January 15th.
So,
Oh my God.
so Bill, did you guys enjoy the chicken parmesan? And the
Oh,
We're
very
just
much, Debbie.
we're
Okay.
just doing our organ recital. Discussing our ailments.
Yes.
Oh, I know. No, I've been listening the whole time. I'm still in bed. I'm taking advantage of not having to be anywhere.
Good for you.
Deb, I
didn't know you ever went to bed.
Well, the thing is, sometimes I like to just, first of all, my house is really cold. So it's the only warm place. I'm in my bathrobe in my bed and I'm warm. So I'm good.
well, I was sure that you were going to tell us how many potatoes you had peeled or how many eggs you had whipped or whatever, because that's what you usually do when we're on Zoom.
Well, yesterday when I was doing the apple crisp for the dinner, I peeled the top of my pinky finger. And it's
Oh,
just like, it's one of those things that every time you touch it, it
Oh.
hurts. So I'm off duty today.
Well, the apple crisp was delicious. Thank you. I had it last night.
What was the dinner that you did? Was it a bridging dinner or?
No, this was a courageous conversation leadership retreat. So I
Yes.
did like a vegetarian chili, which was, it's all good, healthy food. And like, I was glad to do it, but I literally, but it was bleeding kind of profusely, but I had to keep going because I was making dinner.
Oh,
So I kept on putting Band-Aids on, but when you're in the kitchen, you're working nonstop and I don't have the the rubber things.
Well, I didn't taste any blood.
No, I'm really good about making sure that was one of the ingredients. I wasn't, and then I went out last night to see I actually, right after that, I went to an art exhibit from my friend Michael Eder. And then I went to see Forbidden Broadway, which is really good.
Oh,
Like it was, I had got comp tickets from somebody, and but it's just like these people put their lives out on the stage and they're doing all these dancing and singing. And, I just want to still support the arts as I'm drawing back from shopping at certain places and not buying certain things. There are things I want to support, and that's the arts. So
So Deb, is Forbidden Broadway an ongoing show, or was it a one night thing?
I think it was just this weekend. I think maybe it was Friday night, Saturday, or it might be this
Oh, okay.
afternoon too. But
Okay.
Lori and Mallory went, right?
yeah, well, Lori went. Mallory didn't go. I saw her by herself.
Well,
She had offered me tickets, and I was like, I already had.
I thought Mallory was going to go. That's too bad. We're going to the MFA this afternoon to see John Wilson, a lecture
Yes.
about him and his sculpture. He's the black sculptor from Roxbury. He's deceased, but he did those large heads
Yep.
that are on
Yep.
the Bend side and in front of the African American Museum in Roxbury.
Yep. I saw one in
So,
Spain when Sharina Nail and I drove around Spain and Portugal. I think it was Spain. It might have been Portugal, but we saw one of those heads. I'm like, that has to be the same artist. That has to be the same artist. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
was it?
Yeah, it was, definitely was, and stuff. So, but it's yeah, I saw that that's going to be there, so I'll catch it at some point. But I'm ushering tonight for the Odyssey at the American Repertory Theater, and I'm really excited for that because it's a current day perspective of healing and past trauma, and so I think that'll be. But it's a 3-hour show with 2 intermissions. So
That's the one in Watertown, right?
no, they're moving there, but right now this is in Harvard Square.
Uh-huh.
So I'm trying to figure out. I was supposed to usher with another friend who wants to back out because of the weather, but I think Doug, his schedules that he works nights, but he worked all last night and he slept there, and then he's working today. So I think he's off at 3. So as long as he's able to stay awake for 3 hours,
Wow.
I'm asking him if he'll usher with me.
We're getting a message from the tech person at school. Does anyone want to take over hosting so we can keep talking, or do we say goodbye?
Keep talking. I just don't know how to do it. It took me forever to figure out how to unmute.
I'm going to go. It's good to see you all.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Good to see you all.
I guess.
I'm gonna
Good to see you.
Okay, take
Good
Bill,
to see
good
you.
to see
Thank
you.
you very much.
Be
Bye-bye.
careful. And
Thank
Bill,
you, Deb, for that delicious dinner.
You're welcome.
be careful, everybody.
Okay,
Yeah.
take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oops, how do we leave? There we go.